Have you ever found yourself asking, if twin flames are supposed to be about unconditional love, why does it hurt this much? This is one of the most paradoxical mysteries on the twin flame journey. You meet someone who feels like home, someone whose eyes awaken a love older than time itself. And yet, instead of living in a fairy tale romance, you are plunged into one of the most intense periods of pain and despair you've ever known. That period has a name in spiritual traditions. It's known as the dark night of the soul. Now, the phrase might sound ominous, even frightening. And if you're in it right now, it probably feels like drowning in shadows, like you've lost the light of your life and don't know how to find your way back. But here's the truth very few people will tell you. The dark night of the soul is not your ending. It is your initiation. It is the passageway through which your ego, your illusions, and your unhealed wounds are stripped away so that the truest version of you can finally emerge. And when it happens in the twin flame journey, it carries an even deeper meaning. It is the very crucible that prepares you for divine union. So, in this video, we will explore the full truth about the dark night of the soul. We'll begin by understanding what it truly is, why twin flames almost inevitably pass through it, the different stages of this descent, and the symptoms that prove you are walking through it right now. I invite you to stay with me, even if this topic feels heavy, because once you understand the purpose of your darkness, it will stop feeling like punishment and start feeling like sacred preparation. So let's begin. Part 1. What is the dark night of the soul? The dark night of the soul is not just a bad day, a depressive episode, or a moment of sadness. It is a profound spiritual crisis, one in which everything you thought you knew about yourself, about love, and even about life itself collapses. The term was first coined by Saint John of the Cross, a Spanish mystic who lived in the 16th century. He described it as a period when the soul feels abandoned by God, stripped of comfort, and left in utter desolation. Yet, paradoxically, he also taught that this darkness was not a curse but the doorway to divine union. When we bring this idea into the twin flame path, it takes on a new dimension. Meeting your twin flame is like being struck by lightning. It ignites your heart, awakens your spirit, and shows you glimpses of eternity. But it also exposes everything within you that is not aligned with love, your insecurities, your traumas, your attachments. And as those illusions fall away, you may feel like your very identity is being destroyed. The dark night of the soul, then, is that period of collapse when the old self dies. The you who relied on external validation, the you who thought love meant control or possession, the you who built walls to survive, all of those versions begin to crumble. Feels terrifying. Feels like loss. But in truth, it is transformation. It is your soul clearing the debris so that your authentic self can finally rise. Think of it like this. If your soul is a diamond, the dark night is the fire that burns away everything that isn't pure. And though the flames feel unbearable, they are the very thing that makes you shine. Part 2. Why the twin flame journey triggers the dark night. Here's a question you might be asking yourself. If this connection is supposed to be divine, why does it pull me into such darkness? The answer lies in the purpose of the twin flame journey itself. Twin flames do not come together merely to enjoy romance. They come together to awaken to themselves, to each other, and to their divine mission. An awakening by its very nature is disruptive. When you meet your twin flame, it's as if a spotlight has been turned on in the deepest corners of your being. Everything you've been avoiding, childhood wounds, limiting beliefs, karmic debts, ego-driven behaviors, suddenly stands in plain view. You can't hide from it anymore. Your twin flame is not just a lover. They are a mirror. They reflect back to you all the parts of yourself you've tried to ignore. If you have abandonment wounds, their distance will trigger it. If you struggle with self-worth, their silence will amplify it. If you have unresolved karmic ties, being with them will bring those patterns to the surface. And here's the paradox. This is not happening to hurt you. It's happening to heal you. Without this deep excavation, you would never become the version of yourself capable of embodying unconditional love. Without this collapse, you would never rise into your authentic power. So, in the twin flame journey, the dark night of the soul is not an accident. It is built into the process. It is the soul's way of ensuring that when you finally unite with your twin flame, it is not from a place of fear or need, but from a place of freedom and wholeness. Part 3. The stages of the dark night in the twin flame path. The dark night often unfolds in stages. It's not always linear, you may cycle back and forth, but generally there is a progression. Let's walk through them. Stage 1. The shock of separation. After the initial euphoria of meeting your twin flame, many experience what's known as the separation phase. Suddenly, the person who felt like destiny may withdraw, run, or push you away. This shock feels unbearable. You ask, how can someone who loves me this deeply also leave me? The pain is not just emotional, it's spiritual. It feels like a part of your soul has been torn away. Stage 2. The void. Once the shock passes, you enter what mystics call the void. Life feels empty. The things that once brought you joy, work, hobbies, even friendships, seem meaningless. You may question your purpose, your identity, your very existence. It feels like drifting in a sea of nothingness with no anchor to hold on to. Stage 3. Confrontation with shadows. Here is where the real work begins. The void forces you inward, and suddenly your shadows emerge. Childhood traumas, patterns of codependency, fear of abandonment, unworthiness, anger. They all rise to the surface. You may feel haunted. Control. You begin to trust that there is a divine plan unfolding, even if you cannot see it. Stage 5. Integration and awakening. Eventually, after what feels like endless nights, light begins to return. You notice synchronicities guiding you. You feel new strength rising within. You begin to embody love not as dependency but as a state of being. This integration marks the beginning of awakening, the rebirth of your soul. Now let me ask you, which stage resonates with you most right now? Are you still in the shock? Or have you begun to feel the glimmers of awakening? Part 4. Symptoms of the dark night of the soul. How do you know if you're truly in a dark night and not just going through a rough patch? Let's explore the common symptoms across emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual levels. Emotional symptoms. Intense grief. You may feel waves of sorrow so strong they seem to come from nowhere. Longing. An aching desire for your twin flame, even when you know physical reunion is impossible right now. Hopelessness. A sense that nothing will ever change, that you are trapped in endless suffering. Emotional volatility. Swinging between despair and brief moments of joy, often triggered by synchronicities or memories. Mental symptoms. Existential doubt. Questioning your entire worldview. Why am I here? What is the meaning of life? Obsessive thinking. Constantly replaying interactions with your twin, analyzing every word, searching for hidden meaning. Confusion. Struggling to make decisions. Feeling foggy or disoriented. Loss of identity. Feeling like the person you used to be no longer exists, but the new you hasn't fully formed yet. Physical symptoms. Fatigue. Despite resting, you may feel drained as if your energy has been sucked out. Sleep disturbances. Insomnia, vivid dreams, or waking at odd hours. Body aches. Strange pains, pressure in the chest or head, tingling sensations that don't have medical explanations. Energy fluctuations. Sudden bursts of energy followed by complete exhaustion. Spiritual symptoms. Sense of abandonment, feeling like even God or the universe has left you. Loss of interest in spiritual practices. Meditation, prayer, or rituals that once brought comfort may now feel empty. Heightened synchronicities. Seeing repeating numbers, hearing songs, or experiencing coincidences that seem to echo your inner turmoil. Mystical experiences. On the flip side, some feel sudden moments of deep peace, visions, or telepathic contact with their twin. It's important to note, not everyone will experience all these symptoms, and sometimes they come in waves, intense for a while, then easing, only to return later. But if you recognize several of these signs, chances are you are walking through your own dark night of the soul. Part 5. Real-life stories that illuminate the darkness. The dark night of the soul can sound abstract, like some mystical idea you read about in old books. But in reality, it shows up in the rawest, most human ways. To help bring this to life, let's walk through some stories that mirror what many twin flames experience. Story 1. The successful professional who lost herself. Sophie had it all, or so it seemed. A high-paying job, a stylish apartment, a circle of friends who admired her achievements. But when she met her twin flame, everything shifted. The connection lit up her heart in ways she had never experienced before. Yet after a short period of bliss, he pulled away. Suddenly, Sophie couldn't focus at work. The job that once gave her a sense of identity now felt hollow. Friends' conversations felt meaningless. For months, she thought she was losing her mind. What she didn't realize was that she was entering her dark night. In that darkness, Sophie confronted the truth. She had been living a life scripted by others, by society, by her parents, by expectations. The connection with her twin had shaken her awake. And though it felt like her world was collapsing, what was really collapsing was the false self she had. Rituals. Create daily moments of surrender. Light a candle and say, I release control. I trust the divine. Pray. Meditate. Visualize placing your burdens into the hands of the universe. These rituals train your mind and heart to let go. Tool 6. Seek professional support. Sometimes the pain is too much to handle alone. There is no shame in seeking therapy, counseling, or energy healing. These guides can help you navigate safely through the darkness. Tool 7. Notice the light. Even in the darkest night, there are flickers of light. A kind word from a stranger. It is proof that you are being found. No night lasts forever. Dawn always comes. And the dawn of your awakening is already on its way. If you are in the dark night now, hold on. Breathe. Surrender. Have you ever found yourself asking, if twin flames are supposed to be about unconditional love, why does it hurt this much? This is one of the most paradoxical mysteries on the twin flame journey. You meet someone who feels like home, someone whose eyes awaken a love older than time itself. And yet, instead of living in a fairy tale romance, you are plunged into one of the most intense periods of pain and despair you've ever known. That period has a name in spiritual traditions. It's known as the dark night of the soul. Now,